last time.
I don't want to buy Sonic Generations again. I bought Sonic Generations already. It's still available to buy to this day.
Oh, well, it's a funny story, really. Nate, they're on to us. This video was long overdue, so let me just start out by saying you guys were right, and I was less right. I caved. I bought the game, because us Sonic fans are kind of starved of content right now, and even though that video wasn't that serious, I was being a bit harsh on the game, I didn't actually give it any credit, I just kind of dogged on it. I saw the trailer and instantly assumed it was going to be yet another lazy port. And after seeing Sega release the fermented doo-doo water that was Colors Ultimate, can you really blame me? I mean, okay, I guess you can. That video was kind of rushed. This company does not have a good track record when it comes to handling ports, but, they proved me wrong, and I'm glad they did, because, oh man, we have a lot to go over. I can't even begin to compliment this game, man. The controls are fluid, the moveset is awesome, the graphics are crisp, and for the first time in a while, there's a compelling story with actual dialogue that isn't just some cringy, unfunny joke used over and over again. The level design is incredible. Like, it's a huge step up from Frontier. Really feels like you have more of a choice of where you go instead of moving in a straight line. Like, there's this one part in Kingdom Valley where you can throw an enemy through a window, and that's a path you can take. Like, most enemies in Sonic games don't even pose a threat, you just run right through them like a bowling ball. But here, it's like the enemy placement is actually part of the level. Oh my gosh, good level design. Dare I say it, this is peak level design. I mean, we haven't had levels this complex since Sonic Adventure. They were even able to take Sunset Heights, a Forces level, and make it good. This is what Sonic Forces should have been. I don't know who they got in that room to cook, but my gosh, give that man a raise. Another thing that makes the level design fun is the new implementation of the Chaos Gauge, which isn't the boost gauge. This is completely different. And it allows you to perform chaos control throughout the level. And get this, right? It stops in-game time. A 10-second speedrun of a level just might be possible. I'm just kidding. In all seriousness, though, the chaos control does allow for even more platforms and alternate routes, which I love the fact that the new Sonic games are getting into the mind of speedrunners. Like, we like this. I like this. I like the feeling of going fast and trying to beat my previous time by using new strats, new techniques, and new paths. This is great. This is actually great. There's also the new Doom alien powers that Shadow has now that everybody's talking about and are saying is so cool. And honestly, I get the hype and all, like, it looks cool in cinematics and whatnot, but for me, it was more so just a gimmicky kind of feel, so it didn't really hype me up that much. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's great that they're trying new things. It's decent, like, it's not overbearing, but it's just not my cup of tea. And don't even get me started on the cutscenes, alright? Like, those look gorgeous. These are probably the best and most expressive Sonic models to date. I really hope they keep Long Quill Sonic. I will say, though, that is kind of weird how this game takes place after Frontiers and Forces, which doesn't make much sense because Sonic Forces was supposed to be the sequel to Generations, hence the line Modern Sonic says the classic Sonic.
It's been generations since I've seen you!
Obviously making a clear nod to the fact that this happened after Generations, but whatever, I mean, it's not like the Sonic series is known for consistency with their timeline anyways. One thing that does rub me the wrong way is the censorship that everybody's talking about. And no, I'm not talking about the Rouge one, I get it. They market this game towards kids, I don't care. But with Amy, they changed like 80% of her cutscenes to be more in line with the Amy of today. Boring.
You saved me, Sonic! I'll be sure to return the favor next time around.
Not really worrying about that right now, Amy.
And I've heard people try to defend this decision by saying, oh, she didn't have a personality before, her character was just Chase Sonic, this is character development. Which, I get, her character has been flanderized over the years. But that being said, I don't agree with the whole erasure of the character either. This game came out during the 2010s, and that was still part of her character. If they want to change Amy's character moving forward, that's fine, but to rewrite the past and act like it didn't happen is kind of disingenuous to the whole character development arc. Like, how can it be character development if we're writing it as if she was always like this? To be honest, I found the original scene kind of funny with Sonic pushing her off of him. or when she slammed Knuckles into a tree. Like, this is slapstick comedy. And if it's really not that big of a deal as people claim, I argue why change it at all? It's as if the idea of Amy having a crush on Sonic at all is taboo now. And if anybody dares speaks out about it or has a different opinion, they're the problem. Maybe the obsession needed to be toned down a little bit, but to be removed completely makes the character too serious and kinda dull. In my opinion, I think we need a return to form of the passionate and caring Amy from the Adventure series. A little crazy about Sonic, but still her own person, able to make her own decisions. Like standing in front of E102 and pleading Sonic not to murder her. But tarot cards? Really? Is that really your thing now? Ugh. They also changed the Knuckles scene where he calls him fat because he doesn't realize that he's talking to classic Sonic and not modern Sonic. And instead of that, they have him asking about his island, which makes no sense because they still have the animation of him patting his stomach. So now the joke is lost and everyone is left with confusion. Seriously, why did they change this part? What did they think it was fat phobic?
Did you gain weight?
Good lord, dude, I hate censorship. This one actually didn't need to be changed. Like, why? Who asked for this? Who was upset about this scene? Even though it's not a huge takeaway from the game, it also shouldn't be glossed over with a lackluster argument of who cares. Because I care. And many other people online of the modern audience they so desperately try to please care. We don't like censorship. It's kind of hard for creators to be creative when they have a bunch of snobbish, overbearing losers wagging their fingers in their face and fine-tuning everything they see as problematic. Still, the game is worth a buy, unnecessary censorship aside. And although I would have liked a full Shadow game, this was a fun 3 hours at least. I'm genuinely curious to see what they can do moving forward in new games. Like, hopefully it won't just be the Sonic show and more characters like Shadow get to be playable and have their own story. Because if I end up being right about this being a one-and-done deal with Shadow, and them going back to making slop for the years to come, I will be very upset. This port was very well received, but I hope this doesn't put Sega into a state of complacency where they just start to release a bunch of remastered titles, and I have to buy the old game just to play the 3-hour section of the new game. But anyways, that's the video. Let me know your thoughts about it in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next one.